masterclass very useful and helpful. So before we get into the session, let me quickly introduce myself. I am Neha Chauhan and I'm a teacher expert at Cuemath. I have a teaching experience of more than 3 years. The subjects that I primarily teach are mathematics and reasoning, and the regions that we cater to is the Indian students and the US students. Now, do grab a notebook and a pen as we shall quickly begin with the masterclass. So here we begin our Olympiad masterclass, and as you all know that the topic for today's masterclass is ranking test, and this specifically is for children who are in grade 1 and in grade 2. So this is targeting children who are very, very young. So before we get into the session, let me just quickly take you through the table of contents. That is, what all do we expect from today's masterclass. The first thing that we will be starting with is understanding the core concept of ranking test. What exactly is ranking test? Then we'll be seeing some applications in our day-to-day life so that children do get a relevance and importance of why do we need to learn ranking test and where exactly is it applicable. Then based on these two things, we'll be solving some interesting and engaging problems so that children do not only get engaged but also get very excited and are very interested in learning these problems and solving these problems. At the last, we'll be taking some learning outcomes. That is, what all do we have understood from today's masterclass. And here we begin. The first thing that, as I said, is the definition or the core understanding of what exactly is ranking test. Now, as you all can see on the screen, that it's a very polished definition. So I would not suggest parents and teachers to give away this definition right at the beginning while you're trying to teach the concept of ranking test to your children. Now, why is that so? Is because to give such a heavy definition to children who are in grade 1 and grade 2 who are very, very young would become very difficult for them to understand this and to exactly know why are they learning this. So a better way of doing it is that you first ask them, like, have they ever heard the word ranking? So I'm sure, and as you all know, they would be pretty much be having a vague idea, if not a very good idea of what ranking is. And that's primarily is because by the time they go into grade 1 and grade 2, they would have done their kindergarten and they would have seen a lot of competitions happening in school wherein they do get ranked. It could be sports, it could be drawing competition, it could be any other competition where they do get ranked. And the underlying criteria there is the performance. The better you perform, the better rank that you get. So they would definitely be having an idea of what ranking is. So we start from there. We start from what they know, and then we build on what they do not know. So instead of giving or spoon feeding them with the information which they exactly do not know where it's coming from, we actually need to start from what they know and then start building the concept on that foundation and make it more stronger. So as they would be telling you some examples of ranking, you can give them more examples of how ranking is always not based on the performance. It could be based on some other criteria as well. Like another example could be, arrangement of students in prayer meets in school. That is, how do students get, arranged in prayer meets is that they are made to stand in rows where height becomes the underlying criteria. The child with the shortest height stands in front, and the child who's the tallest one stands at the back. Now, this is the arrangement that we see, which is based on height. So any arrangement which is based on position or ranks of an object or a person, it could either be from left to right or from top to bottom, is called as ranking. And when you get tested on this, that is what we call as ranking test. Now, why exactly do we rank things? Why exactly do we arrange things? And that is because to make things more hassle-free. Otherwise, everything becomes very not so ordered. It becomes very clumsy. As I said, a better way or a good example could be the arrangement of students in prayer meets. Now, what happens there is if students are not arranged according to their height, the whole prayer meet becomes very clumsy, because if they're standing randomly, children who are of short height would not be able to see what's happening in the front. So it's very important that they stand in a very orderly manner so that nothing goes clumsy but is all in a very organized way and becomes very easy to understand and to function around that. So arrangement of anything, it could be object, it could be person. When you arrange things according to a certain criteria, it becomes very easy and very hassle-free to function around that. Now, as we all know, like we arrange our cupboards, we arrange our bookshelves, and why do we arrange them? So that while we are trying to pick out something that we need very quickly, an arrangement is something that will help us. So this is the core concept of ranking. And while we are taking up ranking for grade 1 and grade 2 children, arranging would mostly be either from left to right or from top to bottom. So now that we have learned the exact definition and the core concept of ranking test, and also we have seen some relevance in our day-to-day life, as I said, like prayer meets, some competitions like sports, drawing, allocation, and then if you're talking about the arrangement of objects, it could be books in bookshelves, it could be clothes in your cupboard, and it could be arrangement of children in prayer meets. So these are some real life examples that you can give it to your children so that they better understand it. Where exactly is it applicable? And yes, we really need to understand this. So now that we have understood the concept and also the application of ranking tests in our day-to-day life, we'll see how to solve these problems. Now, when it comes to aptitude, it's not like the regular maths wherein you have a certain concept which is directly get applied. You just go through that application of concept and you arrive at the right answer. It's more of a logical thinking here. And over a period of time, as they practice more, as children practice more of questions, they need to build a knack of solving these problems so that they're able to easily solve it, also are able to solve it in the quickest way, that is in the shortest possible way. So when it comes to aptitude, it's more about that knack. It's more about, looking at a question quickly, observing the things that you need to observe, and then figuring out the answers. So the first bullet point, as you all can see, says, see carefully all items given in the figure, because observation is very, very important. You need to observe the right information. You should be able to fetch out the information which is given in the question, because that is what will help you go towards the answer. And then as it is about ranking test, the whole concept is about the ranking test. We need to identify the position of an object or a person from left end or the right end, or it could be from top to bottom as well. And then think and choose the right option. You can also be eliminating some options. So it's always not that you start from the question and then you fetch information and then you try to solve around it and you arrive at the answer. But as it is aptitude, and I said there is no particular methodology that you follow, it could also be you start eliminating the options which are very quite obvious would not be the right answers. So you zero down to, let's say, 2 options, or like if it's a very easy question, you can actually zero down to 1 option which would be the right answer. So this is called as the knack of solving the problem, so that you solve it in the shortest way possible. So here we start with the very first question. It says, what is the position of the flower which is circled? Let's see the options. Okay, so what they have done is they have already given us the right and left. So if in a question, if it's not given what right and left is, children in grade 1 and grade 2 need to know which is their left and which is their right. They need to mark on the question paper, or they should be able to identify mentally which is their right and which is their left. So first concept that you need to teach them and which they should be very, very thorough with is the right and the left. But here in this question, it's already been marked which is right. They have given right here and this is left here. So there are 2 ways of understanding the position of the circled flower. We can either go from right and count its position, or we can go from left and count its position. So let's go from right first. So I'll be marking for the right below the flower. This is first flower, second flower, third flower, fourth one, and fifth one. So if it is from the right that we are counting, it would be the 5th flower from the right end. And if you're going from the left, it would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is the 4th flower from the left end. So 5th from the left is not right. 4th from the right is also not the correct answer. 4th from the left is a correct answer, as we just now saw that. And 6th from the right is not the correct answer, because we saw if we're counting it from the right, it comes the 5th one, the 5th flower. So the correct answer to this question is option C. Also, all of you who know how to solve these questions, parents and teachers primarily, because those are the ones who would be looking out for the content so that they can impart this to their children. If you already know the answers, do put it in the comment section below, and also give your reasoning as to why you thought this is the correct answer. And if you have any questions, do also put that in the comment section so that we are able to answer them. Going forward to the next question. It says, what is the difference between the number in the third box from the left and the number in the ninth box from the right? So as you can see here, we have some numbers listed and there's no left or right given here. So now we would be marking our left and right. So this is the left and this is the right. Now it says the number in the third box from the left. So 1, 2, 3. The number which is in the third box from the left is 23. I circle it. And the number in the ninth box from the right. So let's start marking from right. I'll be writing it below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So 57 is the number which comes at the ninth position if we start marking it from the right end. And what they ask us is to find the difference between them. So I'd be taking 57 and we shall subtract 23 from it. And the answer that we will be getting is 34. So as we can clearly see, the option C is the correct answer to this question. Moving on to the next question. Okay, so it says, which of the following letters is fifth from the right end? Again, what comes into the picture, the very first thing is the students should be able to mark their left and right as it's not given in the question. So we first be marking our left and our right. Now we need to see what the question is asking us. It's asking us which of the following letters is the fifth from the right end. So we'll start marking from the right end. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. So the letter A is the one which comes at the fifth position from the right end, and so the correct answer to this question is option D. I hope you all are with me and you're all understanding this concept and these problems. If you do really have any queries or any difficulties solving these problems, do put it in the comment section and we'll be helping you out with those questions. Moving on to the next question. It says, which teddy bear is immediately to the right of the third teddy bear? Now this is a bit of a tricky question as per if you read the question. What it means is, it says which teddy bear is immediately to the right of the third teddy bear. Now it doesn't really say third teddy bear either from left or from right. So the first thing, as I said, you would be marking your left and your right. Now, as it does not say which teddy bear is the third teddy bear, that is, are we locating it from the left end or are we locating it from the right end? So in a question when it is not given, by default, we need to understand is that because the way we write is from left to right is the order which we would be following. I would repeat that. Because the way we write is always like, be it Hindi, English, most of the languages that we write in India are from left to right, we go in that direction. We'll be ordering the teddy bear by default from left to right. So this is the first teddy bear, this is the second teddy bear, this is the third teddy bear. So this is the third teddy bear, and the question asked us which is the teddy bear immediately to the right. So this is the left of the third teddy bear and this is the right. So the immediate right is the teddy bear Y, and hence the correct answer to this question becomes option B. Moving on to some more interesting questions. Okay, so here says which number is 8th from the right. So an easy question, as I would say, all you need to know is which is your left and which is your right. Your children must be able to figure that out. So I mark my left here, I mark my right here. It says which number is 8th from the right. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So number 6 is at the 8th position from the right end, and hence option A becomes the right answer to this question. So now we move on to the next question. We see some turtles here. It says which turtle is placed the second last. Now, you see a figure, it doesn't really tell you which is the first, which is the last. So what the student needs to know? They need to know the turtle which is closest to the finish line is the one who is coming first. And the one who is the farthest from the finish line is the one who is coming the last. And here the question is asking us, who is the second last? So this turtle is the last one. This is the one who is coming almost first, has not touched the finish line yet, but is coming first for now. And they're asking us which turtle is placed second last. So this is the last one. From here, the second one would be the turtle P, and so our answer becomes option B. That is, the turtle P is the one who is coming the second last in the race that we see is of all these turtles here. Moving on to the next question. Okay, so we see some more turtles here, or the same set of turtles, but the question is a bit different here. It says, which turtle is ahead of Q but behind of R? Now, as parents and teachers would see, or any other person would see this question, would find it very, very easy. But for you to understand is, this is really very important, that student might not be really very thorough or be really understanding the meaning of ahead and behind. Okay, and it says but. So these are the statements which might confuse children, because these are very young children who have just started their education in grade 1 and grade 2. So such kind of statements might confuse them. So what you need to tell them is that ahead means in front, behind means at the back. So it says which turtle is ahead of Q, that is in front of Q. So we see that turtle C is in front of turtle Q, but behind R. So behind R is, again, as we can see, this is R, in front of R is turtle D, and the turtle which is at the back of turtle R is turtle C again. So the answer to this question clearly becomes option C, which is turtle C. So I hope you all understood this question and how to exactly give it to your children and how exactly to probe them and make them arrive and guide them to the right answer instead of giving them the right answer straight away. Moving on to the question here, which is the question in the basic level, the last question. After this, we'll be solving some more interesting and engaging questions which would be of advanced level. So this is the question which is the last one in the basic level. It says here, how many fish are swimming towards the left direction? Again, we need to mark our left and right. So this is left, this is right. Moving towards right would be in this direction. That is, any fish which is facing towards right is swimming towards the right direction. Any fish which is facing towards left and is swimming towards that would be swimming towards left. So this is the first fish swimming towards left, this is the second one, this is the third one, and this is the fourth one. As you all can see, their eyes are all directed towards the left direction. So the total number of fishes that we have swimming towards the left direction are 4, and so the correct answer to this question becomes option C. So with this, we'll be moving on to some interesting and engaging questions, as I said, which will be of a bit of, more trickier side. I wouldn't say difficult, more on trickier side. So let's get on to some advanced level questions here. Now, as we all know, logical reasoning inculcates the ability to think logically in a child. They start thinking in an innovative manner. They also strive to get the answer in the shortest possible way. And this is how a student gets trained by a Cuemath expert, and all of it is being provided in Olympiad masterclasses conducted by Cuemath. So with this, I would like to introduce the TUCO registration forms. Every student who wishes to take up the real-time Olympiad examination by Cuemath, please go ahead and click on the link given in the description box below. The registration amount for TUCO is ₹200. The benefits that you get on registering for TUCO is that you get a complete course curriculum to prepare for it, which is worth ₹5,000. So every time we have a masterclass schedule, you can join us in the masterclass and then later can work on the extensive sheets on the same topic through the course curriculum provided by us. So make sure you do not delay and register yourself to get the most out of the curriculum worth ₹5,000 just for ₹200. Now with this, we will be moving on to some more engaging and interesting questions of advanced levels. So here we start with the advanced level question, and the first question that we have in here says, if items O and P are removed from the given arrangement, then the fourth item from the left end is dash. So the first thing that we need to do is put a cross on the items which are being removed so that we do not count them. So the items that are being removed here are item O and item P. So I put a cross on item O and item P. Now they've already given us which is the right side. So this would be the left side. And they ask us to find which is the fourth item from the left end. So we start counting. This becomes 1, 2, 3. The crossed ones we do not count. And this is the fourth. So the item Q, which is a sofa, becomes the fourth item from the left end, and hence the correct answer to this question becomes option B. So now we'll be moving on to the next question in the same advanced level. So here we have a lot of smileys that you can see on screen. It says dash is the sixth from the right end in the pattern given below. So again, we need to mark our left and right because in this question it's not given. So this is our left, this is our right, and the sixth one from the right end. So we start marking from the right end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is the smiley which is at the sixth position from the right end, and we need to spot the same exact smiley in the given options below. And we see that the one which is the exact same as this is option B, and so that becomes the correct answer to our question. So it's also like mapping and tallying the same exact smiley into the options which the children in grade 1 and grade 2 need to follow. They should not get confused with different smileys and different shapes or figures that they see in the question. Moving on to the next question, it says here, if there was no ice cream, what would be the position of the cup? So when it says no ice cream, what we can do is we can put a cross on ice cream so that we do not count it. Now there are two ways of counting the position of the cup. It could be from left or it could be from right. And the left and right are already marked in the question, as you can see. So if we were to start counting from left end, the bucket becomes the first, the cup becomes the second. So the position of the cup is second from the left. Now if you would see from the right, it's 1, 2. We do not count the ice cream as we put a cross on this because it says if there was no ice cream. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So fifth from the right end. Now let's see the options. Second from the right is not a correct answer. Fifth from the right is a correct answer because we just now saw that. Fifth from the left is obviously not the correct answer because we see that it's the second from the left. And fourth from the left is also not the right answer. So the correct answer to this question is fifth from the right end. So here is how we solve some questions wherein it says if there was no a particular object or a particular set of objects are being removed. So you can't really remove it from the question paper, but what you can do is you can put a cross on that so that while you are counting, you do not count those objects. With this, we move on to the end part of our masterclass, which is learning outcomes, which is also a very, very crucial part so that we really need to understand so that we get a closure of what all we have understood in today's masterclass. So the very first thing that, as I said at the start of the masterclass as well, it is the extensive practice that the student needs to have in aptitude so that they build a knack. Knack is something that gets built over a period of time, over a period of, over an extensive number of questions that you work on. It's not just 1 or 2 questions that would give you that knack. You need to be really very rigorous in your practice. So that's first thing. And when it comes to learning outcomes, children need to understand certain words like ahead, behind, front, back, top, bottom, left, and right. So these are some terminologies which are associated with the rankings, the arrangements, which they should need to know, because if they know everything but they do not know the meaning of these words, they might get confused during the examination because they do not know the meaning of the top, bottom, left, right, ahead, behind. Also, they should be able to mark their left and right very, very correctly so that they do not get confused there as well. So as it says, analyzing left and right, and to identify the exact position of the object, because it could be from either ends. You know, you can obviously be marking the position of an object either from the left or from the right, and there would only be one correct answer in the question. And then comparing the rank of an object with respect to another object. That is, as we saw, you know, to a particular teddy bear, what is the position of the teddy bear which is right next to it? Or so many other questions which are based on the respective position of the objects or respective position of two people. So these are the learning outcomes, some takeaways that you have from today's masterclass, which was on ranking test. Now, as you all know that we have already launched the TUCO online registration. It's already open. All of you who are really very interested, that your children and your students do take part in a real-time examination conducted by Cuemath. It's the ultimate Cuemath Olympiad examination. So do click on the link which is given in the description box below and get yourself registered so that you have enough and ample time before you get onto this test, and you also avail the course curriculum which gets provided to you along with the registration that you do. So with this, it's a wrap here for today's masterclass, and we'll see you soon again in the next masterclass. I hope you're all doing well and hope to see you soon again.